May 13th, on a beautiful spring day, at PAFA's wonderful halls, the furnace buildings where I received my master's degree with my classmates over here. All of us received it. Here is a momentous moment where I actually get a higher education, whatever that is, with one of the instructors over here. Over here is my first grade teacher, Anita Costello, and also an assortment of my art that I've created in over a 2-year period while studying and receiving that piece of paper I explained to you. Later on, I go on a plane on a very long journey, a few thousand miles away, to the mystical lands of Peru. While in the plane, the weather's a little inclement. You'll see the clouds building. You see my anticipation building at the same time. Very, very nice. The weather is a little cool. It's raining a little bit. The plane departs. I go from Philly to Lima to Cusco. I arrive to Peru. They're saying that the altitude in that country is really high. Literally, when you get off the plane, they'll give you a piece of coca leaf. The air is so clean there. If you are in excellent health, you shouldn't have any trouble. This is the room I stayed in during my trip. I had a little friend of a kitty cat that was there. Very cute cat. There is the bank that I actually did my first transaction from dollars to Peruvian currency. Right there's the buses. I mean, this is a very wonderful place to visit. I've never seen such graceful land with such clarity and beauty as you see in these photographs. If you're going to go to Peru, I would definitely recommend that you go there. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Corpus Christi, during my stay in Peru, was an amazing time. I see these mercantile places. I see a lot of these children and families selling their goods to make a living in that country. And then I see these props in these churches that are that's located in La Plaza de Almas in the city of Cusco. And I see these wonderful idols of these saints, these Christ-like saints. That it's an event that happens in Peru every year, celebrating the arrival of Christ. But on top of that, you'll see a lot of these wonderful apparels that are for sale, tapestries. The llamas were great. You see this buck-eyed llama right here, which I took. It was a very difficult photograph to take, but this was the funniest picture I've taken, and I love this one. But out of all my stays, you'll see a lot of the locals, a lot of the people just performing for the tourists out there. It's just a wonderful place to be. Here's a self-portrait of me contemplating. I'm like, what's going on here? Then I see a little, Americanized Disney-ish stuff. And then, once you know it, there are thousands of people crowded around these churches and playing in bands and doing all this wonderful stuff, celebrating and commemorating their faith. This is something that I've seen in the geographic photographs, and I'm actually witnessing this stuff as I arrived the country, and I'm just looking at these ornate and elaborate presentation styles and everything. It was just something out of a textbook. I was like, whoa, what the heck was all of this? And it shows how deeply faithful these people are in this country on Christianity. It's amazing how this tradition has been going on for, I don't know, maybe a few hundred years. But it's just a beautiful communion of a lot of tradition and families, which is just so beautiful to see. And tourists over there with their, their selfie sticks. I mean, a lot of the little stands and shops and everything. I even bought a piece of artwork there, which was wonderful. I'm there, I get hungry, I go into a place to eat. The food is just amazing. This is something that I encourage anyone that doesn't know the country to go. Look at this. I mean, how could you not love and see the sugar canes, the families interacting, and the actual culture of this country? I was just fiberglassed. The communion of thousands of people celebrating their faith. I think that was just a beautiful moment. And you see all these idyllic things being pushed around, and you see the people selling their... At the end of the Corpus Christi day, everybody's gathering, going home. literally thousands of people going home. I catch a cab to the place where I stay, count all the money, look at the currency. It's always different there. Then I go back out, venture, start my next day, looking at what was there, remnants of Corpus Christi, everything being taken down. Here I am in the PLAZA of the ARMAS, contemplating what happened yesterday, looking at the great cathedrals that are there. And then there is these indigenous events that happens right after. I don't know what these events are. I never looked them up, but they're just beautiful. The tapestry, the Inca, pre-Inca culture that's being here celebrated by the locals. And they're for children, for tourists, for photographers, for anyone like me out there. You see the gorillas. I mean, these are great things. I really don't know what these things are, but look at the colors, and these are definitely inspiration for artists. And then you see the locals who are putting themselves out there. Here I am with a llama, doing a touristy thing and walking the lone streets. I mean, this is such an amazing city, the city of Cusco. Look at the squares. I stayed over a friend's house, and right there you see me drawing before a trip that I went to earlier on. I took a cab going to a place called Sacsayhuaman. I don't know exactly what that is, but this is going to the Street of the Americas, into the country. And as you see I see all these pictures I've taken, you'll see these idolized places. And this is Sacsayhuaman, places that I was recommended to go. I didn't know the country from left to right, and here I am in a cab taking pictures of the beautiful landscapes out there. And this is a wonderful and glorious country. You could just smell the air just by looking at these photographs and imagine the history there. Here I am standing in front of mountains where, I don't know, probably 5 miles outside of the city. This is another fort with these wonderful stone carvings that brings a lot of rich history of the Incas that was before the colonials came over. Look at the landscapes, my God. This is a place to die for. Puki Mara, however that's spelled, I was there. Just the architecture alone is just to die for. If you need to be somewhere, anywhere in the world, I would definitely recommend Peru. This trip was a life-changing experience for me. You see the locals selling their stuff there, and all of the tourists goes around here doing whatever they need to do to survive. And here I am showing off at Pukipawa. I don't know too much about this place. I did some reading on it, but I said it's not relevant. Yeah, again, the locals with the llamas and their children and their families, which is wonderful. Me and the cab driver, really cool guy. I said, here I am being the quintessential service tourist. I was actually taking a horseback riding by Sacsayhuaman, wherever that place is, and it was just something I would recommend anybody to do, to find a local and actually get on a horse and just gallop around these ancient lands and watch the locals do themselves. This is an experience that is only once, maybe twice if you get an opportunity to go again. And this is the fort of Sacsayhuaman. Here's a local sculptor, which beautiful work, really cool guy. I didn't get too much into the details of this journey, but as you see these photographs depicting the great architecture and the rocks and the landscape is just so beautiful. I was walking back with a friend of mine who I stayed with there, and just in awe of the locals there. When you go, if you have the privilege to actually walk these streets, this is what you're going to see. You'll just see history here. People who know the country can dissect this video and actually talk about these areas and the stairways, man, and the local wildlife, the dogs, you know, whatever. Look. I mean, that must be. That's just amazing. I have no words for this beauty. Here I am at the end of the stairway. Hey, look, a Volkswagen. Wow, this was just an amazing trip. Here I am eating some chicken and whatever. I mean, it's just delicious. Here I am in front of a grand cathedral, and let's talk about some history here. The death of Tupac Amaru II, a rebellion against the Spanish and the Europeans settling Cusco. 1781, he was captured. They tried to dismember him by horses, but they had no success, and they had to decapitate him and put his head on a spike to show all of Cusco. Alfeni Shakur, the mother of the famous rapper Tupac Shakur. Tupac actually had a different name, Lassane. She changed it under the great Inca rebellion leader. This concludes part 1. Come back to the second part of my video. Please subscribe, and let's continue this path.